Intelligence type with astrology case study. Mina's ascendant lies in Vishakha, Scorpio, infusing his psyche with ambition, resilience, and a drive for meaningful impact. Vishakha brings determined focus and the capacity to lead through challenging terrain, shaping Mina's core orientation toward existential and interpersonal intelligence. He is likely a goal-oriented thinker, concerned not just with success, but with what it means and who it touches. His intensity of presence draws people to him, while his ability to work through emotional complexity grants him an intuitive depth in both leadership and transformation. His moon in Jyeshta, also in the first house, strengthens emotional and psychological perception. Jyeshta confers a protective, senior quality, enhancing emotional, naturalist, and existential intelligence. Minas likely internalizes emotion through analysis and translates that emotion into strategic action. This emotional acuity supports careers in counseling, crisis management, or roles that require navigating complex human behavior. His self-concept is deeply shaped by emotional experience, giving him a quiet authority born of deep internal knowledge. In the second house, Venus in Purva Ashada brings refined values and expressive charm into his sense of resources and voice. This placement supports interpersonal and musical intelligence with the ability to connect and inspire through aesthetic, persuasive communication. Purva Ashada lends charisma and creative enthusiasm, ideal for roles involving creative direction, public relations, branding, or emotionally intelligent leadership. Minas likely possesses a voice that soothes or motivates, one that knows how to translate feeling into form. His Sun and Mercury in Shravana in the third house enhance linguistic, logical, and interpersonal intelligence, particularly in the realm of speech, motivation, and active learning. Shravana supports storytelling, listening, and teaching. Minas is someone who learns by paying attention and who leads by sharing what he's learned. His speech may carry authority, and his intellect is deeply attuned to both structure and emotional tone. He would thrive in professions involving teaching, coaching, consulting, writing, or community engagement. Rahu in Uttarabhada in the fifth house awakens existential and intrapersonal intelligence in the realm of creative intelligence, memory, and speculative knowledge. Minas is wired to create from the soul, guided by intuition and deep symbolic patterns. His creativity is subtle, idealistic, and often spiritual in tone. He may excel in visionary education, archetypal storytelling, esoteric teaching, or transformative art forms where the message carries collective relevance. Mars in Bharani, in the sixth house, charges his daily work, self-discipline, and problem-solving with bodily kinesthetic and transformational intelligence. Bharani's Venusian intensity transforms conflict into growth, while Mars gives energy and precision. Minas likely learns by doing, preferring work that is high impact, physical, or decisive. This placement supports careers in healing, health optimization, crisis navigation, or team-based transformation, where purpose meets pressure. In the 12th house, Jupiter in Vishakha anchors intrapersonal and existential intelligence in a private, spiritual dimension. His sense of meaning and higher knowledge is internally directed, leading him toward philosophies, systems, or studies that help others understand their place in the larger scheme. He may work behind the scenes as a philosopher, spiritual guide, researcher, or visionary educator, offering insight not just to individuals, but to society at large through thoughtful frameworks. Mina's intelligence type constellation merges emotional depth, communicative clarity, philosophical wisdom, and transformational drive. He learns best through experience, service, and intuitive immersion, translating inner intensity into outer purpose. Whether guiding others through emotional transition, building systemic understanding, or creating emotionally resonant structures, his mind works through both detail and depth, always moving toward integration and meaningful impact. Career based on intelligence for Minas. Minas's Scorpio ascendant in Vishakha, alongside the moon in Jyeshta, gives him a natural command of emotional landscapes and psychological nuance, ideal for careers rooted in guidance, transformation, and strategic insight. His dominant intelligences, existential, interpersonal, linguistic, emotional, and intrapersonal, align him with paths where depth, influence, and personal presence are essential. He is most effective in roles where truth must be uncovered, stories must be told, and people must be met at the edge of change. His moon in Jeshta intensifies his emotional and interpersonal intelligence, making him a powerful navigator of complex dynamics, especially in leadership, mentorship, or therapeutic settings. Jeshta's maturity and strategic edge suggests Minas would thrive in crisis counseling, trauma recovery, emotional intelligence coaching, or high-trust leadership roles, where intuition and discretion are critical. He leads with presence, perceives unspoken emotion, and carries emotional weight with inner stability. With Venus in Purva Ashad in the second house, Minas speaks and creates through emotional elegance. His musical and interpersonal intelligence express best through voice, persuasion, and aesthetic delivery. This placement supports careers in motivational speaking, relationship consulting, brand design, value-centered content creation, or emotionally intelligent communication. He may be especially effective where tone, trust, and emotional timing are central to influence and impact. His Sun and Mercury in Shravana in the third house further enhance his linguistic and logical intelligence, particularly in fields involving teaching, public speaking, structured communication, or community leadership. Shravana's focus on listening and transmission makes him suited for knowledge-driven work, especially where mentorship, ethics, or narrative framing are involved. He may work effectively in educational design, spiritual storytelling, or as a counselor-educator who helps others make meaning from personal experience. Rahu in Uttar Bhadrapada, in the fifth house, reveals a subtle but potent existential and intrapersonal intelligence that fuels soulful creativity. He is well-suited for careers that involve spiritual teaching, esoteric arts, archetypal psychology, or emotionally symbolic storytelling. His creativity is not loud, it's meaningful, compassionate, and meant to stir deeper reflection. He may design experiences that help others reconnect to a sense of inner purpose or spiritual truth. Mars in Nirani in the sixth house provides bodily kinesthetic intelligence in high-pressure environments. He is likely to thrive in dynamic, action-oriented roles that require both resilience and decisiveness, such as transformational coaching, somatic therapy, emergency response, or justice-centered healing practices. Bharani's association with life-death processes also supports work in birth work, palliative care, or trauma-informed activism, where precision, presence, and purpose meet. In the 12th house, Jupiter in Vishakha orients his existential and intrapersonal intelligence toward wisdom sharing, spiritual leadership, or research that bridges the personal and the universal. He may be drawn to behind-the-scenes influence, serving as a guide, strategist, or philosophical teacher who prefers depth over visibility. His work may include writing, spiritual counseling, or ethical development work that helps others align with meaning and transformation from within. Altogether, Minas is built for vocations that combine truth, empathy, structure, and emotional refinement. Whether as a healer, communicator, guide, or strategist, his intelligence is best expressed where emotional truth must be heard, transformation must be held, and deep integrity must be embodied. His career isn't about scale, it's about significance, where presence becomes impact and insight becomes change. Intelligence type with astrology case study. Ralph's ascendant in Revati, Pisces, creates a foundational personality marked by imagination, empathy, and universal sensitivity. Revati is the nakshatra of nurturance, intuition, and spiritual connection, shaping Ralph with a naturally intrapersonal and existential intelligence. He learns through internal reflection, creative emotion, and intuitive resonance, often absorbing the emotional tone of environments. Pisces adds to this by granting a visionary lens, making him a soulful observer, a compassionate participant, and someone whose insights come through nonlinear awareness. 3 planets, Venus and Mercury in Revati and Uttara Bhadrapada, and Ketu in Purva Bhadrapada, are also placed in Ralph's first house. Together, they form a potent trio activating visual spatial, linguistic, musical, and existential intelligence. Mercury in Uttara Bhadrapada gives Ralph an abstract yet organized mind capable of intuitive iteration and symbolic interpretation. His thinking blends emotional tone with philosophical structure. He may communicate best through pattern, story, or metaphor. Venus in Ravati enhances sensitivity to aesthetics and auditory harmony, giving him a highly developed sense of beauty, rhythm, and subtle emotional shifts. Ketu in Purva Bhadrapada amplifies Ralph's existential intelligence, sharpening his ability to perceive the deeper nature of experience. He is likely drawn to life's mysteries, spiritual truths, and transitional moments, often exploring ideas that lie between material and metaphysical planes. This placement may also inspire a need to detach from outer expectations in order to follow a more authentic inner vision, suggesting a learning style and intelligence shaped by reflection, solitude, and deep emotional inquiry. In the second house, Sun in Ashwini contributes interpersonal and existential intelligence through voice and value. Ashwini's quick action and leadership instinct enhance Ralph's ability to express identity and clarity through speech. His voice may carry charisma and purpose, suitable for motivating others or initiating conversations that spark change. The Sun here offers discernment and visibility, but with a subtle undertone of service or inspiration rather than dominance. Moon in Dhanishta in the 11th house energizes musical, emotional, and interpersonal intelligence in the social and collective domain. Ralph may understand group dynamics through rhythm, energy, and tone, making him especially effective in emotionally charged or artistic networks. Dhanishta adds a practical yet creative rhythm to his emotional processing. He may gravitate toward collaborative environments where structured creativity or emotionally intelligent teamwork is key. In the 10th house, Jupiter and Saturn in Mula and Purva Ashada support a career direction built on intrapersonal and existential intelligence, but grounded in realism and purpose. Jupiter in Mula brings deep-rooted vision and transformative insight. Ralph may seek roles where spiritual inquiry, teaching, or ethical reform is foundational, while Saturn in Purva Ashada grounds this vision with persistence and responsibility, helping him manifest long-term plans through disciplined effort and values-based leadership. Lastly, Mars in Purva Bhadrapada in the 12th house speaks to bodily kinesthetic and existential intelligence expressed in private or spiritual domains. Ralph is likely to integrate physical action with intuitive purpose, perhaps through therapeutic movement, symbolic ritual, or creative solitude. His energy flows best when aligned with inner vision, making him drawn to spiritual service, artistic solitude, or transformative healing. Altogether, Ralph's intelligence is shaped by reflection, pattern, rhythm, and symbolic depth. He learns through emotion, expresses through form and feeling, and leads through inner truth. His mind blends intuition with aesthetics, analysis with empathy, and philosophy with creativity, forming a whole that is both quietly powerful and soulfully aware. Career based on intelligence for Ralph. Ralph's Pisces ascendant in Revi, along with the presence of Mercury, Venus, and Ketu in the first house, gives him a career orientation built on empathy, symbolic perception, and intuitive design. His dominant intelligence types, intrapersonal, visual spatial, existential, linguistic, and musical, make him ideally suited for roles that require emotional fluency, aesthetic insight, spiritual integration, and creative communication. His professional impact emerges from quiet depth, subtle presence, and the ability to articulate invisible truths. In the first house, Mercury in Uttara Bhadrapada and Venus in Revati offer Ralph a sensitive but structured intellect. His linguistic and visual spatial intelligence combine to make him a natural communicator of symbolic or emotional complexity. He may excel in therapeutic storytelling, reflective writing, content design, or aesthetic consulting, especially in environments where emotion, art, and spiritual depth overlap. His speech may carry softness yet precision, ideal for guiding others through vulnerable or imaginative terrain. Ketu in Purva Bhadrapada, also in the first house, strengthens his existential intelligence and further detaches him from conventional success paths. He may feel called to careers that prioritize transformation, introspection, and non-material guidance, such as spiritual mentoring, dream work, or behind-the-scenes innovation. Ketu here offers insight into subtle dynamics, giving Ralph the ability to influence through energetic or symbolic means rather than overt authority. In the second house, Sun in Ashwini supports his interpersonal and existential intelligence through self-expression, voice, and motivational leadership. He may thrive in public-facing roles where initiating dialogue, inspiring change, or activating new ideas is key. Whether through speech, media, or intimate leadership, Ralph brings courage and clarity to conversations that matter. This placement supports careers in coaching, spiritual entrepreneurship, or motivational communication, particularly those rooted in fresh energy and emotional direction. His moon in Janishta in the 11th house activates emotional, and collaborative intelligence in group settings. Janishta's rhythmic structure supports Ralph in careers involving sound healing, emotional team leadership, music-based therapy, or collaborative event design. He is likely to understand people through energetic patterns, offering emotional support and creative rhythm to communities or networks with which he aligns. In the 10th house, Jupiter in Mula and Saturn in Purva Ashada offer a long-range, grounded career path rooted in ethical purpose and transformative guidance. Jupiter gives him intrapersonal and philosophical intelligence, ideal for education, spiritual teaching, or life path counseling, especially where depth and detachment are honored. Saturn supports disciplined growth, aligning Ralph with professions that require persistence, moral leadership, or structured spiritual development. Mars in Purva Bhadrapada in the 12th house gives him bodily kinesthetic and existential intelligence, expressed through quiet service, ritual action, or intuitive healing. He may be drawn to careers in somatic therapy, spiritual embodiment work, or dream integration practices, roles that require solitude, precision, and metaphysical awareness. His energy is most effective when anchored in spiritual alignment and guided by inner vision. Altogether, Ralph's ideal career paths merge emotion, meaning, beauty, and rhythm, whether through healing arts, spiritual guidance, or creative systems of support. He works best where form meets feeling, intuition shapes action, and silence reveals truth. His vocation is not just about profession, it's about offering others a way home to themselves through symbol, insight, and soulful design. Intelligence type with astrology case study. Roger's ascendant in Uttara Bhadrapada Pisces defines a psyche that is deeply introspective, wise, and spiritually resonant. This nakshatra lends him a quiet strength and capacity for inner endurance. His intelligence unfolds primarily through intrapersonal, existential, and emotional channels, marked by a soulful perception of reality and a desire to serve, reflect, and transform from within. With Rahu also placed in Uttara Bhadrapada, Roger's path is both mystical and unconventional, shaping a mind that explores beyond boundaries, weaving together logic and intuition in pursuit of deeper understanding. In the second house, Jupiter in Ashwini Aries brings ethical and philosophical awareness into how Roger expresses value and voice. This placement contributes strong intrapersonal intelligence, where his sense of worth and material expression are driven by purpose, belief, and bold thinking. Ashwini adds speed and pioneering ability, suggesting he learns quickly, acts decisively, and may communicate moral or spiritual truth in original ways, perhaps even through leadership or motivational guidance. Roger's 4th house is a focal point for cognitive function, hosting Venus in Mrigashira, Mercury, and Sun in Ardra, a trio that amplifies linguistic, visual spatial, and existential intelligence. Venus in Mrigashira gives Roger an artistic, emotionally curious mind. Mercury in Ardra empowers his analytical and critical faculties, making him adept at communicating subtle emotional truths, often with intellectual detachment. The Sun in Ardra brings self-awareness into his emotional world, allowing him to lead or teach others from a place of deeply integrated intellect and emotional clarity. Mars in Pushya in the 5th house adds bodily kinesthetic and emotional intelligence in creative, expressive spaces. Pushya gives a nurturing undertone to Mars's assertive nature, blending action with support. This placement equips Roger to teach, heal, or perform in ways that protect, empower, or emotionally anchor others. His learning style is experiential, and he thrives in environments where creativity and action serve a higher emotional or communal function. In the 7th house, the conjunction of Ketu and Moon in Hasta Virgo further enhances Roger's existential, naturalist, and emotional intelligence within relational dynamics. Ketu's placement here grants him instinctive discernment, subtle perception, and an inner drive to deconstruct relational patterns for truth. The moon in Hasta deepens his emotional fluency, allowing him to support others through craft, care, or insight. Together, these placements suggest he may be drawn to transformative partnerships, counseling roles, or symbolic teachings about intimacy, healing, or co-regulation. While Saturn does not factor directly into the assessment of intelligence type, its presence in Jeshta, Scorpio, in the 9th house may color Roger's long-term philosophical orientation with depth, realism, and inner authority. He is likely to explore knowledge systems not just for mental stimulation, but for personal and spiritual maturity. Roger's overall intelligence signature is nuanced, with high self-awareness, emotional depth, linguistic clarity, and symbolic vision. He learns best through quiet integration, emotional connection, and philosophical exploration, often drawn to experiences that hold depth, transformation, and mystery. Whether guiding, healing, or communicating, Roger's gifts lie in his ability to speak what others feel, name what others intuit, and walk the bridge between the visible and invisible. Career based on intelligence for Roger. Roger's Pisces ascendant in Uttara Bhadrapada, accompanied by Rahu in the same Nakshatra, points to a career path shaped by spiritual intelligence, emotional depth, and intuitive communication. His key intelligences, intrapersonal, existential, linguistic, emotional, and visual spatial, align him with vocations that prioritize meaning, reflection, and the translation of subtle experience into impactful insight. He thrives in roles where quiet presence, symbolic clarity, and healing-oriented expression are central. In the 2nd house, Jupiter in Ashwini supports motivational and value-driven communication. This placement favors Roger's ability to inspire, teach, or counsel with a tone that is both direct and ethical. His voice carries momentum and belief, making him well-suited to roles in public speaking, mentorship, spiritual education, or value-based consultancy, especially in pioneering or therapeutic environments. He may be drawn to helping others reclaim self-worth through courageous thought or action. The 4th house stellium, Venus in Mrigashira, Mercury and Sun in Ardra, anchors his linguistic and emotional intelligence in private, nurturing domains. Roger may flourish in writing, psycho-spiritual education, grief support, or emotional processing through narrative or dialogue. Ardra's transformative depth, combined with Mrigashira's searching quality, makes him ideal for crafting stories or teachings that help others explore change, vulnerability, or inner questioning. His communication is likely layered, emotionally intelligent, subtly provocative, and aimed at meaningful change. Mars in Pushya in the 5th house lends him bodily kinesthetic and caregiving intelligence in expressive or creative service. This is not showy leadership, but one rooted in quiet strength and emotional reliability. Roger may find himself leading through protective guidance, therapeutic coaching, youth development, or service-oriented performance arts. Pushya lends devotion to his output. Whatever he creates likely carries resonance, nourishment, and long-term value. The 7th house Moon-Ketu conjunction in Hasta deepens his relational wisdom and emotional discernment. This combination points toward existential and emotional intelligence in one-on-one spaces. Roger could thrive as a relationship counselor, grief facilitator, spiritual companion, or archetypal guide, helping others deconstruct illusions in partnership or navigate the emotional undercurrents of personal transformation. His ability to see beyond surface interactions allows him to work at depth, often holding space for others' integration. His Sun and Mercury in Ardra further support his gift for symbolic analysis and critical emotional articulation. He may find fulfillment in professions that involve emotional strategy, expressive writing, or therapeutic language work, especially where intellectual rigor must meet emotional clarity. He is designed to bring sharp awareness to emotionally foggy or transitional spaces, a psychological translator who names the undercurrents others can't quite articulate. Jupiter in Ashwini also aligns him with fast-acting restorative work, such as breath-based healing, short-form teaching, or motivational direction. His learning is rapid, and his presence often catalyzes momentum for others. He may work well in crisis coaching, first response healing, or emergency emotional intervention, where intuitive timing and bold, compassionate direction are needed. Altogether, Roger's career intelligence is designed for depth, healing, and resonance, not through conventional routes, but through symbolic presence, quiet leadership, and emotionally intelligent expression. Whether speaking, writing, teaching, or healing, his gift is to translate the unseen into clarity, holding others through their own emotional unfolding with precision, compassion, and quiet truth.